The IMC Podcast is here to motivate and excite you about reading the Bible while in your corner. With that said, we highly encourage you to draw your own conclusions based on your personal findings in the scriptures as you journey with us on our conversations of the individual biblical characters. The views expressed by the guests on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of our sponsors or who they represent. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and keep going. Like, subscribe, and share.
Because if we had it, we would more listen and ask questions than to assume just because of their appearance or just because of how they speak, this is who they are. Not necessarily so. They just may not have the opportunity to have the tools.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the In My Corner podcast, where we explore different biblical characters and stories in order to figure out why their stories played out the way they did. I'm Dee, and with me, my co-host Richard, and our special guest Natasha. She wears a lot of hats. Okay, she's a professor at Andrews University. She's a podcaster. Check out her podcast, MPoweredMe. The link is down below. She is also a mother. And what I missed, there's a lot.
Wait a minute. I preach. I'm an
author, well-accomplished author. Yes. And so we're so glad. CEO. So we're so glad to have her on in this episode. And as always, we're going to explore another character that we're really passionate about. Richard. Who's that character?
Who's that character?
Who's that character?
Well, I'm not going to say the name first. But I'm going to say some things about the character. I'm not even going to use pronouns yet.
What you going to say about the character?
Now, listen. Imagine you find yourself in a place where you don't see family in a traditional way. But you find yourself in a place where you don't find freedom. In a way, you're not in your homeland. You're in a place where you have mentors, but of course that mentor is a person that you've tried every possible best to follow the footsteps. But it gets to a point where you have to be away from him for some time. But yet, because of who you are and the principles you were taught by that person, you decided to keep what they taught you and still stayed in touch with the person, even though your status got elevated. Well, today's character is this beautiful, incredible woman, Esther. And because of what she chose to stand for, she saved her people.
Listen, so before he said the name, I was like, that's a whole lot of people in the Bible. Let's just be real. That's a lot of people in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, Esther's has become one of my favorite books of the Bible, as well as one of my favorite people that I've come to grow and love for so many reasons. Her and James. I like James because he's like, I'm going to just tell y'all like how I'm going to tell y'all. And I don't care what part of your skin don't like it. But let's get back to the subject at hand. So we got to come back for James.
This is Natasha, y'all.
You got to come back for James.
She's coming back for James. She's coming back for James.
But Esther, for me, when you think about her context, now Esther is a person, we like to put prophets, disciples, and Bible figures and put this fantasy fairyland. They came from good stock, and we praise the praise.
Yeah.
We praise the good part of the story.
They're from Beverly Hills?
Yes, they're from Beverly Hills. 90210. Listen, I gotta stay on topic. So, but let's get down to the truth. Esther was traumatized 3 times before she actually got to do and make the decision for where she had to go to. Now, some people on one of those traumas, they die. Esther was separated from her parents, gone. Esther was separated from what she knew, exiled from where she lived.
Yeah.
Esther was then put into, moved from the little family that she had into a sex slave trade.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be real. That's what it was.
Because
I need to come pleasure some stranger. I'm behave. You told me behave, Richard. I see your face. I'm behaving, Richard.
Yeah. Keep doing the laundry.
Yeah,
Just listen.
Yeah, this stranger I have to please, and he has to decide whether I'm good enough based on a one-night stand. Really, saying. So Esther was traumatized. Her tradition of this is how you fall in love. This is we'll choose your husband. She never got that. So these are 3 different areas where Esther was traumatized. Not to talk about becoming a woman. What does that look like? I'm being taught this way in the Jewish community, but what does that look like now that I'm here in this palace? One of the things that I want to bring across is that no matter how bad her past was, that was put upon her because she didn't choose those circumstances.
Okay.
No matter how bad it was, Esther still found a way to have faith. She still found a way to listen to her upbringing in God. And she found a way to be courageous. Because when it came time, she went to work. Now, some of us, we go through one of those traumas and we cannot handle it. That's that person's personality and character. And we have to find a way to help those people heal. And I want you to hear the story of Esther, not from Esther the queen, but from Esther Hadassah.
Okay.
Who is Hadassah?
Okay.
We talk about Esther, this queen, and she's beautiful because the Bible says when the king saw her, the man was shook. Okay? He was like, yeah, that's the one. He got to look no further.
He was ready to risk it all.
Yeah. I'm good. Whatever she want. And I believe that beauty was the same thing that caused her not to get killed. Right? So let's talk about Hadassah before we talk about Esther. Who was Hadassah? When I say the trauma that Esther went through, I'm actually talking about the trauma that Hadassah lived through. Because she became Esther when she was going to the palace.
Okay.
Because Mordecai said, looky here, when you go up in there, your name not Hadassah. Your name is Esther. And some people take the point of, well, he gave her that name to hide her.
Hide her identity, right?
What about he was God ordained to cover Esther and thought that this was a way to cover her? You ever thought about it that way? We don't know. The Bible doesn't talk about the conversation that Mordecai had with God or if he had any conversations with God. I'm putting assumptions into this text. But Mordecai believed he was her protector. He was her guide. He was her covering. He sat at the palace waiting for her, making sure she was okay. She had everything she needed. She talked to people and gave money for Esther just to make sure she was okay. So, with him thinking as covering, he's like, no, I'm a protector. Your name is Esther.
I think before you go on, I looked into the meaning of Esther, and it means a star.
A star.
Or like out of a star. And this is only assumptions, but I believe Mordecai also saw something in her that was not just, maybe someday the king is going to choose you. But he's like, I know you're going to get up there. And when you get there, don't forget who you are.
Yeah.
There are, if you watch some of the Bible videos, movies, that of Esther, they always paint Mordecai seeing her greater. If you ever hear his language, she's going to be great, so I have to.
Yeah.
Any movie, The One Night with the King, Esther from the Bible, old Bible stories where it looks like it was made in the 60s, all of that. Mordecai has always been placed as a character who said, Esther is going to be great, so I have to teach her. I have to cover her, not just physically as in house and home, but also spiritually. He made sure she had the word of God hidden in her heart.
Yeah.
He made sure she understood the various languages. He was her teacher. So where some women couldn't go to school, Esther was being taught at home. So when Esther got to the palace, Esther was prepared for the palace before she even knew she was going there. And that's something that we have to understand. Hadassah was being taught. Hadassah, the little Jewish girl, was being taught before she can become Esther. Now, that's something that as women we need to pay attention to, because we're always like, I have some women conversations that I get in trouble with. And I'm going to just say right now.
She's not snitching. She's not snitching. She's just saying her business, right?
You're going to be mad. Yeah. But they say, why not me? You know, I'm queen. I'm acting like a queen. No, you're not acting like a queen. First of all, you're emotionally unaware of who you are. And you're so traumatized that you don't understand the brokenness that you have and that you're spreading it around to people. Wow. So you dress well. Got to give it to you. There's some girls, hey, hand it down. Can I have a part of what you do? Can you teach me to dress? But it's really a camouflage for the brokenness that's inside. Because we can fix outside all day long, but what's happening inside? And if they really let you in on their story, they don't really have good friends. And if they have friends, they feel like they have to be on all the time. They have to prove, they have to do this. And it's because we women, and I'm going to put myself in there, because there was a season where I was like that. I could put on outside and dress and do all this stuff. Yeah. But when you went home, I was crying, I was depressed, I was down, I was this, because I hadn't done the internal work. When you look at the story from Hadassah to Esther, Esther did the internal work. Hadassah did the internal work, and here we have Esther. We could not have Esther without Hadassah.
Yeah.
We could not.
Yeah.
Because Hadassah, in her traumatized, I'm hurting, I don't have my original parents. You've moved me from all I know, from my community, from where I was growing up. This is hurting. I don't get to feel the touch of my mother anymore. I don't get to be raised in that traditional Jewish girl when her mother has stories for her and they're learning how to cook. You took away so much from me. But yet and still, I was able to have the faith to learn of God and keep it in my heart. So when it was time for me to become queen, I could embrace it. And then I could tell everybody what they needed to know.
Yeah.
Now, when you now come, here's Hadassah. She's been formally trained by Mordecai.
Yeah.
She speaks languages. She speaks this. There's one of the movies, One Night with the King. I love this because it's an assumption in this story. I love who wrote it, love that, because they put this one line in there. When Hadassah was being taught by the eunuch, what is his name? The king's eunuch. I can't remember his name. But anyway, he's talking to her and he's like, why won't you go to the other things that we're sending all the other maidens to? Why are you out here by yourself, twirling around with the little fairies or dreaming or whatever? And she says, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the statement she actually says. She says, these things don't actually teach you how to be a queen. Why don't you teach me how to be a queen?
Pause. Pause.
Yeah.
Are you listening? Stop doing the laundry. Listen.
Stop doing the laundry.
Listen. We live in the internet age. It's social media. And we see a lot.
Distractions.
Listen, I see women every day, and no offense, and I think this is just a little girl. Because they just want to do what they see on media, and they don't take the time to do the hard stuff to prepare themselves to become a woman. They become unripe women, even for men, in the same way. So my question is, how then do we get young people to get to the stage where they're like, well, I'm not there yet, and I'm not looking at what others are doing, or I'm not taking the pressure of social media, but I'm going to take my time to secretly prepare myself, even when everyone else is having fun.
In serving on college campuses, I've learned something. While I think something is good, you may not think it, right? Whether age, culture, whatever the reason is, we just don't agree. But the other part of the pack that you don't agree is you don't even know what I'm talking about. So while what you're saying is probably a true statement, do they even know that they're acting like a little girl? Do you understand?
Yeah.
You can say that because you have done some work, you have a good foundation, you have been reading, you have been studying, or you had mentors, or you had parents, but let's look at the people who are on there. Do they even have the information that they are looking like that? If you really talk to some of them, they are totally oblivious to what you just said.
Yeah.
They just think it's a good look. This is how you get attention.
Yeah.
This is how you get likes. This
culture.
is how you get friends. This is how you get this. But that's what they were taught.
Yeah.
So you're coming from information and assuming that what you said, they have the information. If a girl growing up doesn't have her father around, maybe not even her mother around, how does she learn? Or a child, period. Let's remove the gender. How do they learn?
Environment.
What environment? Whatever environment they're in.
Yeah.
That's how they grow up.
Yeah.
So if I didn't give that child the information about being self-aware, about learning to love yourself, about what God says about you, about how you should grow, like you need to go to school, you need to have an education, because these are the things that make the foundation of the person. This is how you read. This is how you study. This is how you brush your teeth. This is how you take a bath. This is how you dress. If I never gave that information to a child, where would the child get it from? And then we're complaining that these now children become adults, and we're complaining about the adults. But where did the adults get the information before they became adults? So while we're sitting down talking about Shanae over there.
Okay.
Where did Shanae come from? What was Shanae's upbringing? This is where we now need to be honest about our personal biases, our judgment of people, and why, especially when they look at us as Christians, they don't want to come because automatically we say they don't have. And we think we have it. But we don't have it. Because if we had it, we would more listen and ask questions than to assume just because of their appearance or just because of how they speak, this is who they are. Not necessarily so. They just may not have the opportunity to have the tools. Hadassah had the opportunity. Hadassah, before becoming Esther, was still better than most, if not all, the Jewish girls that were chosen from her city at that time. Because she had an education that the rest of the girls didn't. Those rest of the girls' fathers didn't teach them languages and whatever the case may be. Mordecai was ready. He was like, somebody gonna choose you.
Yeah.
Let's bring it down to the church. D, you go first.
Yeah, and let me rewind a little bit, because you threw out a term or a phrase that's very important. You said Esther did the internal work.
Yes.
Right? Break that down for us, because how does that even look like?
When I'm making some assumptions here that the Bible does not spell out, and the assumptions is that she was raised by Mordecai, who gave her emotional, foundational tools to become Esther.
Got you.
The internal work means this hurts, but this is how I process it. So I'm going to let you know that I'm hurting, and you're going to show me how to work out that hurt. I believe that she had that relationship with Mordecai.
Okay.
I believe she had the relationship with Mordecai to say, Jesus is the answer, but why? I believe she had those conversations that we would love to have with some of our parents, our mentors, and say, you know, I like a guy, right?
How do we go from there?
And I'm 12 years old.
Yeah.
You know, first thing, no. No. You know, that's an education in itself. To tell somebody who is getting aware of their feelings, to tell them no, block it off, you're educating them to say that anytime you feel anything sexual or anytime you feel anything that's closely like you're attracted to, you cannot dive into it. It's wrong. That's what you just taught that person. Instead of saying, tell me why you like, tell me why you are attracted. Tell me why you're feeling this, and let me help you work it out. If we would do some of these things, we can break down some of these addictions before they happen. We can break down, because sometimes we go into the extreme because we were told we couldn't, right? So the internal work means we have, or she had these emotions, and she was able to say, okay, Hadassah, this is the information we learned from Mordecai. This is the information we learned from the Bible. And this is how you need to formulate yourself. This is how you need to process. This is what hurt looks like. This is what anger looks like. This is what it means to be happy. This is what it means to be joyful. This is what it means to take a stand. So she did the work so that she's not a poison to the blessings that come her way.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I said let's bring it down to the church is that Hadassah had every reason to say, I'm not going to listen to what Mordecai is saying.
She sure did.
And Mordecai, in the other way around, had every reason to say, well, we're all not in our homeland.
Yes.
So why should I even give 2 cents about you?
Yes, she did. These are choices, though.
And the reason why I want to bring it back to the church and Christianity is our culture is becoming more single parenting and all of that.
Yeah.
But then there's so many people in the church that have the information, but they withhold it and they refuse to be mentors when they know there's an opportunity to mentor a young person.
I want to caution you in that. The word, they don't want to.
Okay, maybe.
Maybe it is that, but where does that come from?
Okay.
Right now, I cannot honestly say I can walk into a church and tell a 10 or a 12-year-old what you're doing is wrong. I cannot confidently say that. You know why? Because the parents will come after you, and how dare you talk to my child? It's not a matter of adults or people don't want to. But we live in a society where the education is not where it was supposed to be.
Okay.
So instead of agreeing together as adults that this child just did something wrong, you get offended that somebody outside of your house correcting your child and you didn't correct your child. So instead of agreeing with that adult, you now get upset at that adult. And you get defensive instead of saying, you know what did they do? I think I want to talk to them. But you get up in your feelings and that pride comes out because you told my child.
My child.
My child. And you know the child is wrong. And then you go home and you be like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
So instead of taking the time to really do the embarrassment homework for the child and let them be embarrassed, you embarrass another adult. So for adults like me who want to, you're like, let me think about this. And you got to start thinking about everything else, my job, my this, because you cannot control their reactions. You don't know what they're going to say. So it's not of a lack of. So with everything, there is prayer. So if I see that as a person, right then I'm praying, Jesus, the situation don't look right now. This child ain't acting like a child of God.
Yeah.
What would you like me to do? Literally. because there's nothing that we can not do without God. Everything, I believe, you getting up in the morning, you need to say, God, help me. God, guide me. God, this. So it's not a matter of not wanting to. We want to. So many of us want to. We want to tell that 16-year-old, you don't need to dress that way. We want to. But do you have the relationship with that child to say that? Do you have the relationship with that parents to have that conversation? I think that's a big part of it as well. I've been having this conversation with another adult about a student. And do you have that relationship with that student to have that courageous conversation? Those are things we need to look at. So I don't think it's a not that we don't want to, Richard. It's just a part of, you have so many things to think about. When we were growing up, I could get in trouble at church, and I could guarantee you when I went home, I was in trouble at home.
You know, when we're talking, one of the things I was thinking, because I grew up with my grandparents, and they would tell me stories, and they said, if you went to school and you did something bad and the teacher whipped you, your mom or your dad would take you back to the school for the teacher to whoop you more.
Oh, mercy.
Because, first of all, why did you not do your homework? Or why did you mess up at school? And you get the nerve to complain to me about the teacher?
I was growing up, it was my aunt. I would get in trouble and I would tell Mom, please don't tell Auntie.
Don't tell Auntie.
Please don't tell Auntie. And it's not that she was the beating type. It's the talking type. It's like, oh no.
You would prefer beating.
Yeah. Please don't tell Auntie. I'm be talked about Jesus and all this stuff. And oh my God. I used to hate it. And then when I got in trouble, she'd make sure I go to her house first before she come pick me up. And my mom was a single mom, and I used to hate it. Now, I so value that. I miss that. I wish she was still here, alive. Because those things that she taught me when I wasn't trying to listen, but I was really listening, because kids listen. I don't care what you tell them. Those things that she was trying to tell me were things that I use now. So, you know, like she wasn't the spanking talk type, but I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Swaggart was playing in the background. You know,
Mercy.
I talk about this, and she would go on, and she would, you know, Lord my God, she would say, Lord my God, she would say in her time. And it would go in there. But, you know, I feel like if I were to put her as a Bible character, she was Hadassah's Mordecai.
And I think we missed that collaboration between parents and community.
Yeah. And that's what would break down some of these things that are happening in our community. We don't have that anymore. I remember growing up, my physician, who was my doctor, went to my church. My teachers went to my church because I went to church school. The guy in the corner who owned the store went to the church. So there wasn't many places, and I lived in Brooklyn, New York, by the way. Back then, that I couldn't, Mom wouldn't, you know, she would find out. Like, what, do you have a camera everywhere? What? And my mom was a single mom. So it was the community who helped raise me.
That's huge.
Yeah, we don't have that anymore.
Bring us back to what you were saying before we kind of deviated from this.
So we have talked about Hadassah and the upbringing of Hadassah and the teaching and the tutelage and the knowledge of Hadassah before Hadassah went to be queen, Esther. Now, the other part of this, you know, we talked about not doing the internal work because you got to be prepared. One of the things that some single women bring up when they're talking about getting ready for marriage is Esther. And here's where I might get in trouble again, and I'm okay with that. I have to say, Esther was prepared for 1 year. And a lot of females are not thinking about this. They're probably in relationships, or if they're not in relationships, they're like, I don't understand why I'm not married yet, because you haven't done the work. Esther was prepared for 1 year before she had her one night with the king.
Wait, you said 1 year?
1 year. Read the Bible.
A one night?
For 1 night. 1 year, 1 night. And we're trying to not do any work for a day or two for the rest of to spend the rest of our lives with somebody. 1 year. She was bathed in oils and spoiled and, all the stuff and the garments and you name it, and probably learned other things to be a queen. But for 1 year, what work are you doing to investigate about your past, your family, your dynamics, your career, your investment in yourself, your self-care? How do you take care of your body, your mind, your soul without a man in your life? How do you do these? How do you glorify God? Is God at the center of your life? How are you taking care of yourself? Can you have a conversation with somebody and still walk away okay? Or have you just told them off, put them in their place, and hope that they go somewhere that you call, double hockey sticks?
She's definitely gonna get in trouble.
How do you communicate? Do you know how to communicate? Do you know how to serve? And I'm not talking about just because we're women, because men and women need to serve each other in a relationship. This is a together thing. We do this together. But you're sitting down here saying, I don't have, but what have you done to prepare? I've been at conversations where I hear, they better come with a degree. They better come with some money. They better have a job. Well, you better have what? What do you have? What are you bringing to the table? And no longer are we dealing with healthy society. So a lot of times when you get into a relationship, everybody is teaching everybody.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm teaching you as the male, and the male is teaching me. Before we even get to marriage, we need to know what that looks like. But if I am unhealthy and God brings my blessing, I am going to tear up the very blessing I've been praying for because I'm unhealthy.
She's not preaching, y'all.
And I'm not talking out of my left or right brain. I'm talking as a woman who's done and still doing the work until God says, I will trust you with my son.
You gotta say that again. Repeat it. You won't have to repeat it, right? Yeah.
I am doing the work. I have gone through counseling, still going to counseling, coaching, doing the books like Healing for Damaged Emotions. Emotional intelligence has become my thing for so many years because I wanted to dive down. I wanted to be a healthy person. I wanted to remove my culture and replace it with God's hand, His Christianity, be Christ-like. I wanted to remove the traumas that I was going through. Why would I want to get into a relationship and I can't trust that person just because they're male? Because the males in my life never really gave me a reason to trust them. So I'm doing the work to not put a generalization on a man when he comes to my life and to deal with him as who he is. And let's walk through this thing called friendship first. Let me get to learn you. But I have to be healthy in order to have a friendship. Who wants to be around somebody who can't control their temper? Who wants to be around somebody who disrespects you and demands you but still expects you to take care of them? Who wants that? So I wanted to do the work. And the couple of things that I started to have to ask was, God, will you trust me with your son? Can you trust me with your son? We ask this all the time when it comes to the girls. The fathers are there. Can I trust you with my daughter? But can you trust your son to a female? And that's the questions I started asking myself. Will you trust me with your son? Because I'm saying I'm lonely. I don't want to go through the rest of my life by myself, but can you trust me to love him? Can you trust me to serve him? Can you trust me to go through this life with him? Can you trust me to take care of him? Can you trust me to nurture him in the ways of God so he can follow through on his calling for what God wants him to do? And can he do the reverse?
Yeah.
Can you trust me with your son? As the women are the nurturers of things, the man is the protector and the priest of the home. And the one thing you hear a lot of time, they don't know how to be vulnerable because every place they go wants to just attack them and beat them down. So can I be soft enough when my husband comes home so he can be vulnerable?
I thought vulnerability was picking up your phone
No.
recording a video
No.
telling people,
No.
my husband hurt me today.
No.
Okay.
Vulnerability is the willingness to be open about whatever aspect of your life, to trust that you are going to a safe environment, a safe person.
Yeah.
And when you're in a marriage, that's a sacred thing between you and that person. I should be able to talk to you about anything. You can disagree with it. We didn't say you had to agree, but I should be able to talk to you about anything and grow with you. That's me being vulnerable. Because when I go outside, I got to be, no, you not having this. No, we not doing this today. This is what's going on. I have to be the listener. I have to be teaching. I have to be doing this. But when I come home, I take off my heels. That's not the place for me to have my heels on. That's the place for my softness to come in so my husband has a safe place to land. This is what I'm talking about. Will God trust me with his son? And the work that needs to be done is making sure that that trauma in your life that you went through is not louder than the testimony you have to give about how God overcame in your life. It can't be louder than that. That trauma has to be something you work out. The fact that I didn't grow up with my father wasn't around. He didn't learn how to be a father, so he didn't know how to be a father to me. Or the fact that something sexually bad happened to me. I was molested, I was raped, I was this, I was that. Or, the fact that I lived in an orphanage. Or, whatever it was. Have you healed from it? Do you understand what healthy sexuality actually is? Do you understand what it means to be taken care of by a man healthily? Do you recognize what a good man looks like? Or have you generalized everybody based on your experiences? Or social media. So when we talk about Esther now, she has done a year. But Esther did a lot of the internal work as Hadassah. So she's in the kingdom. She's being pampered and propped and gotten all the things that, Hadassah didn't get, right? And here she comes now. She's preparing to go for her one night for the king. And whatever versions you have looked at movie-wise or whatever version you have read in the Bible, one of the things that has been a common theme, the king was struck by her beauty. I don't care how many times you bathe in oil. I don't care how many times. That's not just the beauty he was attracted to. That thing had to come from the inside of her as well. Because what was next? What was to come? He still had to feel that way about her and not kill her.
Yeah.
Nobody realizes that. It's not just her going to the king to say, I want to feed you.
Yeah.
That's not what it was. It was the fact that he was more than attracted to her. There was something inside of Esther that was drawing him to her. And that's not something that you can externally take care of. There's not enough peels or mask or waxing or clothes or whatever can do that. That's internal work. She had a beauty inside of her that made some people mad and made some people want to look. They took care of her.
Yeah.
The servants wanted to do things for her.
Yeah.
That's an internal beauty. That's not something you can acquire.
Yeah.
That's something that takes time. That's something you have to notice. There's a God in you. There's a special covering in you. If some people don't know God, they said, there's something positive, something glowing, something coming out of you. That was the biggest part of the beauty of Esther. That's why she won the king.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much, she had on good clothes and she picked out the right jewelry.
Yeah.
Or one movie showed that she had this one charm that would take his eye. No.
Yeah.
She had an inner beauty.
I mean, some scholars said the contest was the best of the best. And also, the way of describing beauty wasn't also not just from the outside, but you also had to be a virgin.
Listen, so I'm gonna put something out there. You ready?
No.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Define virgin.
Ooh.
Never mind, I wasn't ready.
I told you. I said I wasn't.
Back then, in those days, you didn't have to ask that question.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we're thinking this is a biblical society, Jewish society, so they were not exposed to all the things that we are exposed to on social media or the internet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So these days, to ask that question may seem like I'm wrong, but what is that? Because people have different definitions for what sex is now.
Yeah.
So then I have the question, are you a virgin?
And almost everything we see is sexualized.
The Bible talks about, so a man thinks, so is he. So what are you thinking about? What are the thoughts that come in your mind? You may not be doing the physical act, but can I still accuse you of it? I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I'm trying to behave, Richard. I know you told me to behave, but this has been hard, you know.
It has been hard.
But these are real. We don't ask the hard questions, and then we wonder why we get into certain situations. We wonder, but we're not asking the hard questions so that we can fix our thinking and be just and right like God wants us to be. Ask the hard questions. Esther wasn't exposed to this stuff. So now she's in her palace, and now it's her one night with the king. The man is struck. Okay, so he had his one night with her. He sent her back to one of the higher harems because now he has slept with her. So they don't go back to where they were. They go back to a higher harem. And she's probably wondering why she's still there. And then eventually she gets chosen as queen or whatever the case may be. And if I'm talking outside of the Bible, please forgive me because I don't have it open yet right now. And she's queen. So we're queen, right? So he still doesn't see her. He has choices of concubines to choose from.
Yeah.
These are the women he already slept with, by the way. Right. Okay. So here's where some biblical people start, and some people who are not Christians start saying, how in the world can God allow that to happen? How can God allow this to happen? But I need to have everybody remember God cannot control human beings. He gave us the power of choice.
Don't confuse it for anything.
He gave us the power of choice. If he's giving us the power of choice, he can't say, oh, Richard's about to trip Natasha. He can do everything for me to be aware and to know that you possibly can trip me. But can he stop you from attempting to trip me?
Well, I'm not a bot that he controls.
So you have the power of choice. Things happen out of everybody's control because human beings have the power of choice. So some things that happened to Esther, we can't say just it was the devil. People have the power of choice. Now here she is. Here comes this agreement with her nemesis Haman. And I said her nemesis because if he hated the Jews, he hated Esther. Right?
Yeah.
He didn't know it at the time.
Right.
But he hated Esther. So here she is. She finds out about this. And one of the greatest things about this part of the story before we run out of time is Esther went back to what she knew to save her people. She didn't go and say to the courtiers, go kill Haman. And she could have. She could have used her beauty and convinced the king to kill him. Right?
Did what Potiphar's wife did.
See who's causing trouble there? Right. See who's causing trouble there?
Yeah.
Right?
I see it.
Right. I'm not the only one here. Okay. I'm glad y'all remember that. But here she is. She's in this dismay. And I love this part because this is the part we forget. The community that helped raise you, and let me speak for myself, the community that has allowed me to be at this place at this time at Andrews University is the same community I can call on when something is going on and say, can we get together and pray? It's the same community. Some of them are still alive, some of them have passed away, but knowing that somebody's on your side, knowing that somebody is there to cover you in prayer. I call them Black Ops team. Hey, listen, you don't know their name. You may be sitting right beside them. They may be your family member, but they are praying for me. They are covering me.
Yeah.
They are wearing out the carpet for me. Esther went back to her community. Esther went back and she involved her community in one of the hardest circumstances we have. How many times do we get into certain situations and the first thing that we will say is, oh my God, but the next thing that we will do is panic, have anxiety. We will not call for a quorum of prayer. We will start yelling and screaming, what am I going to do? Esther did not do that. She called on her community and said, listen, it's all of us in this together. I may be at a place of leadership. I may be at a role of royalty to do something a little bit more than you can, but I need you in order to get through this.
Yeah.
Because what I'm about to do, how I'm about to speak truth to power, I need your help. So she went back to her community and everybody got together. Why? Because it was a common thing. Everybody was going to die.
Yeah.
So the other thing she did is she tried to help people dismay their anxieties and their worries and directed them back to their power of faith. Directed them back to the person who can control and say, no, I will save my people. She didn't use her own stuff. She didn't use the power of the kingdom or royalty or her husband's power. She said, there is a God up in heaven and we need to remember that. He brought me here to this palace. Whether you like the route that I took to get here, he brought me here. So now that I'm here, I'm going to give him his just due and say, listen, you got me here. Now help me get through this.
Where's the water? She's on fire.
Right?
Yeah.
So she did it. She got her people together and they got together and prayed. And the thing that I'm still baffled about, with all the trauma you went through, Esther, with all the things in life that you did not have, how in the world did you still stand up and say, if I perish, I perish. I'm going forth. I'm going to go stand. I'm going into the king's palace no matter what. We talked about it. One of those things that happened to Hadassah could have taken any one of us out. Just one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing that made her courageous, the thing that made her be able to say, I'm gonna do what God would want me to do, is because she took her faith of upbringing. She took the words that she was taught in the foundation. She took her love for God and she says, on these things I will be obedient, and these things I will stand before the king, because he is nothing compared to the King of Kings. So I'm going in there, God, and I'm going in there with you. How many things in your life, whether that big or that small, do you say, I'm going to set aside 7 days, 5 days, 3 days, 2 days, 2 hours, and stay on my knees in prayer and come before you, God, and wait for your instruction. And then I'm going to stand there and I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to go correct that child, or I'm going to go take that exam, or I'm going to go talk to that professor, or I'm going to go talk to my boss and say, in the name of Jesus, I stand before you, and ... needs to happen. But no, we want to be anxiety filled and worried about and stressed out what some human being is going to do with us when we have a power greater than any of us. And that's what Esther realized. She had a power greater than herself. His name is Jesus. And no matter what I have gone through, when I have gone through it, how I have gone through it, Jesus is going to take it, and it doesn't matter the outcome. Because God says, for these things you will be persecuted in my name. She was ready.
Yep.
because of her relationship with God. We can talk about what Mordecai taught her, but she had to have an individual, intimate relationship with God to say, I will go. Period. It wasn't about turning it back. We talk about Lot's wife.
Yeah.
And how she turned back and be a pillar of salt.
Yeah.
But it's a picture for us continually looking back on our past and becoming bitter instead of moving forward. It's a picture.
Yeah.
It's a story in itself to teach us, stop looking. I remembered when I started, and the first time that my former president called me pastor, he said, you are pastor, Natasha Richards. And I'm looking around and I was like, I ain't go to seminary. I don't have no degree. He's like, I'm going to call you pastor until you get it. And he called me pastor. Publicly, privately, pastor. It started catching on. People started calling me pastor. But then you don't have a degree. So I started learning that I tell myself more negative messages when God is trying to bless me. Like the negative messages get louder and louder and stronger every time God is getting ready to bless me. So I've had to, you talk about the internal work, I don't listen. I don't hear you. And what I do now is I am cards. I have scriptures on my mirror. I have I am sayings that go off every 10 minutes on my phone. If you surround your mind with the things of God, we surround ourselves with negative things all the time. Look at what we do, what we say, right? What if you change that and surrounded yourself with everything that is God, everything that is positive? And I don't mean to be Bible bumping people on the head. I'm talking about simple things. You are beautiful. You are empowered. You can handle money. Positive messages that point you to doing the things of God. I started doing that. In order for Esther to have been Esther and save her people, she had to change her mindset. Her trauma couldn't be louder than her testimony. And in order to do that, she had to do the internal work to go before the king to say, listen, we are going to die. And I'm going to be amongst those people. Will you save us? That's internal work. And it wasn't a one-off. It was something that was cultivated over years. And she was ready not only for her husband, but she was ready for God to take her to the next step. Because she did the internal work. How many of us need to do some internal work so we can do that courageous thing that God is calling us to do? And it could be as simple as, I'm going to be a good father, even though I never got the tools to be one. It could be as simple as, I'm going to be a good mother, even though I don't have the tools. I never got the tools from my own mother to be one. It could be as simple as, I'm going to be an A student, be the first one to graduate out of college, because nobody did it, and we need to do that, and I need to take care of my family. It could be, I'm going to be the great pastor, but I'm going to go to counseling and coaching to make sure that my internal habits, badness, thought process don't poison the very community I am entrusted to serve.
Man.
D, you're quiet.
Man, I only have a question for the audience. Are you ready to do the internal work? Are you ready to do the internal work? If yes, comment down below yes. If no, comment down below no and tell us why. We're listening. We want to read. We want to read what you guys have to say, especially what you guys learned from this episode. And so comment down below what you've learned in this episode. We're looking forward to reading them. What you got for us, Richard?
A lot.
I know. I'm still processing too, man.
One thing that stands out to me is that because we don't take the time to do the internal work, even when the blessings arrive, we don't see it. When God elevates us, we still think we are down there. We still think we're still Hadassah. When God elevates us to the status of Esther, we're like, but I had to go through this. I have the excuse not to do it. But I like when you say it's choice.
But can I say something real quick? Because you said something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to go through this. But this you went through prepared you to be that Esther. I couldn't sit down here and talk to you about all that stuff if I didn't have a hard time being a single mother, if I didn't go through depression, if I didn't, at 49 years old is the first time I'm graduating with my master's degree. I couldn't talk about that stuff. I couldn't talk to you and sit down here about the preparation of being single if I didn't go through the hard things about being single. It's when you have gone through this that God can use your turmoil and your trauma to be the loudest testimony to transform somebody else. That's the point. It's for us to not just sit in that thing that's so negative and say, God saved me, and he's sending you the boat and the helicopter and everything else to save you, and you won't take it because you want to sit down there and say, well, poor me. Get over it. It's time. Start working on it. Okay, I'm done now.
I don't know what else to say because
This is a mic drop.
it's a mic drop. Till we meet again, I'm Richard. This is D. I'm always going to be Richard. This is D. And this is an incredible guest. It's not her dancing. It's Natasha Richards. And you can go listen to her podcast. You can.
Yeah.
You know, I've listened to a podcast and I'm like, ooh, this is hot stuff.
And since you're here,
Yes.
we would love for you to come back, and perhaps you can do James.
James. Oh, we gonna have to have like 5 episodes.
Okay, don't say it now. We're ready for that.
Get your popcorn out. Get your coffee and your journal, because it's about to be on.
Yeah.
James is not a one podcast.
It's gonna be a series, the whole series, man.
All right, D.
Yeah.
With that,
We gonna have to collaborate.
peace.
Peace, guys.
Forever and ever.